One of the questions we always have is about diversity in our cropping system. So going from a sort of monoculture right to a diverse system, we've been monitoring the weeds in there. And certainly, without doubt, the worst treatment, as we would expect, is the monoculture wheat, because essentially we've been growing continuous wheat now for up to 12 years. And certainly the weeds were building up, and we're getting more wild oats and also brome grass coming in there, and the usual barley grass and so on, and ryegrass. So we've tried to sort of manage that in the monoculture by rotating our herbicides. So we've gone through we rotate every couple of years our main sort of pre-emergent herbicides on wheat. And then more recently we've started to use the clear fields, and that's really certainly got on top of the weeds in that monoculture system quite nicely. And then we would go back to a more standard non-clear field type of wheat in there. So, but certainly that's the treatment we've had most difficulty managing. And then we've had less weeds in the continuous cereals because we've had barley in there, which is more competitive, and we've been able to use a broader range of herbicides. And then the very diverse rotation, we have obviously canola in there, Roundup Ready canola, and that's a very good cleaning crop. And so it goes wheat, legume, canola. We were thinking that was going to be obviously the best treatment because it's the most diverse, but in some of the legume phases we've had weeds actually building up in there, and where we don't control those, there's obviously a legacy coming through in that system. So it just shows that in any rotation system, when you have you don't have good weed control strategy for the legume, even though the legume is very good for the system, we have struggled a little bit more to control the weeds, and that's where the Roundup Ready canola has really helped after the legume as a cleaning up crop. Narrow-leafed lupin, so the angustifolius, was the first legume that we had in there. And then we did have problems with some of the weed control there, and the next 3 years after that we used field peas as a strategy to try and reduce the weeds. So that, and the main reason was we could seed those field peas a bit later, and that would allow us to apply after the rains a good knockdown, so that we got that extra weed control in there. And some of the canola varieties we started with were the open pollinated varieties and the TTs. We were using those, and as the Roundup Ready canolas have come online, we've introduced those. But we can go back to the TTs if necessary. So we have that flexibility in the system, and when new varieties or technology comes along, then we certainly try to use that in this trial. We've had resistance to group A's definitely in the trial, but we haven't got resistance that we know of any of the other herbicides, and I think mainly because we've been very conscious of rotating the herbicides, and we've been using mixtures where appropriate as well. So that, I think that's really helped, and particularly then also moving to the clear field for the last 3 years. We're finding that we're measuring less weeds where we're using the windrow burning, so that's been a really positive thing compared to retaining all of the residue.